Good evening again, folks. We want to welcome you to a great edition of MLC Talk. This is where we discuss all things Lutheran. And I'm pretty seated today with my co-host, my dear brother, senior brother, Josiah Jokai. Big Joe.
Hey, Willie.
Good to be here with you.
Good to be here, man. Good to be here. I miss it,
Yeah.
for the past few weeks. But I monitor a little bit the last time with you and Bishop, with Abel. That was fantastic. It was fantastic. The Bishop was very impressive. His comeback was big.
It was. I mean, it was.
Yeah, his comeback was big. I love it. He provided so much information, and I was looking forward to last Sunday to having the Bishop, but again, unfortunately, the Bishop was engaged. When you come to the U.S., time is never on your side, especially when you're visiting.
Right.
You can have so much to do compared to when you are here.
I know. I mean, speaking of the Bishop, looking at the flight tracking, the flight tracking website, Flight Radar 24. By now, the Bishop he's back home in the Republic of Liberia. So, according to Flight Tracker, Flight Radar 24. So he's back home in Liberia. We thank God for traveling mercy. And speaking
what do you mean? He's in Liberian airspace, or he landed already?
He has landed. He's in Liberia.
Oh, he has landed. Wonderful.
He's in Liberia.
Yeah. That tracking system is so good. Yeah. Every time people come here in January to me when they're traveling back, I can track until they arrive home. Like the last time I was tracking him. I didn't tell him. The moment he landed, I didn't give him space. And then I said, "Oh, thank God for safe arrival." He said, "Wait a minute. What are you doing? Were you tracking me?" I was tracking you the moment I left you at the airport. I was tracking you the flight, and then once you landed, I got to know that you landed, and that's why I was just.
But Bijo, I mean, we though we have our guest, he's here with us in studio. Before he can come, I'd like to talk about something briefly. It was wonderful. It was wonderful meeting with you and the family there in Danbury, Connecticut.
Oh, that's my mayor.
And I had the opportunity, and I must state that this is the very first time, like, being in close proximity with a leader even
in the U.S.
in a city. Yes, very close proximity. Having to meet the leader, the mayor of Danbury, Connecticut, and I mean, it was an honor. And this was all done through the work of
man, Willie, you don't have the pictures. Willie, you don't have the pictures. I'm so sorry I didn't share the pictures of the festival with you, man. But did I share some of the pictures with you from the festival? So
you have to. And I actually want you to speak. I mean, what led? I mean, this was the beginning of an event, like meeting the mayor. And it was the beginning of an event. If you could just take probably like a minute or two to just speak to that event, and we'll be showing the pictures later.
Yeah, Danbury is very diverse. It's one of the diverse cities in Connecticut. In fact, the most diverse city in Connecticut. We are under 100,000. The population here, we are about 87,000 people in our city. Very unique, powerful. Great people. Is a great retirement area. Danbury, you have a lot of rich people living in this community. It is reserved. It is so nice for schooling, for family life, and everything. I mean, Willie, you saw it. You came here. But one of the things that people have been lacking for a very long time is unity, coming together to talk to each other, to interact, and soar. During my social justice practicum at the organization, that embraced me, that welcomed me. One of the responsibilities I had was to organize an international festival, the first intercultural festival in the history of the city. So I did that so well. I put a team together called the Mosaic Coalition. The Mosaic Coalition comprised of powerful organizations in Danbury, community leaders, church leaders, different organization. Anything you can imagine about groups, in a society of this nature, I brought all of them together. We make up the Mosaic Coalition. I'm the director of that coalition here in Connecticut, as a matter of fact, here in Danbury as well. So I put that together and we organized the festival. The festival brought together about 20 communities. I'm talking about the Indians, the Brazilian, Ecuadorians, Mexican, the Sikh, everybody, the Italian, the Portuguese, the Lebanese community. We brought every one of them together. It was the first time that the presidents of those organizations ever sat together around the table in the same room and talked to each other. And then after that, we had this massive 2-day event, July 29th and 30th on the Green. The Green is a huge place, beautifully set up for great events, for huge events. We brought them together. Each community built their tent like a country, decorated it with artifacts from their country, ranging from flag, banners, from everything you can think about, their culture, their food, everything, their dances, folkloric dances, costumes, everything. We brought them together for 2 days. It was a great celebration, cross-cultural conversations, people having dialogues and everything. It was, I'm really glad to have led such historic initiative in this great city. It put me in touch. The mayor and I, we are friends. The leaders of this district, the delegation to the legislature, we are all friends. We interact in the normal way, and the community has come together. The Indians, man, they couldn't believe it. The leader of the Indians shed tears that day when I brought them together, because what they wanted to do, the different Indian ethnic groups, they actually wanted to build their own individual tents, really. The Sikh wanted to build their tent. The Punjabi group wanted to build their tent. All the different Indian groups wanted to be a separate tent. So I said, no. I had to work the phone. I had to tell them, if we're talking unity, if we're going to have an optic that reflects unity, the unity of Danbury, we cannot have individual Indian tents. You guys have to come together. And the president said, this is what we have fought to do for years. For years, we have fought to do for years. And we have not done it. So I told them it's going to work. I brought them together at the office. They all sat around the table. I talked to them. They all agree. They all built a massive Indian tent, one massive Indian tent. They all were in that tent and did everything they wanted to do, their displays, their exhibits, their performances on the stage. Everything was just through a unified manner. They did it. It was so beautiful. So we had a great experience in the city here, Willie. We had a great international festival. I will share some of the pictures with you maybe during the course of the program. We can talk about it. But it was a great event, and thanks for the opportunity for me to share.
No, absolutely, and in fact, inviting me to Danbury, Connecticut, and also attending the event. I think it was some social educational event by the which group was it? Was it the Colombian community or the Hispanic community?
Oh, the Hispanic community. Yeah, that was the scholarship gala.
Yeah,
the ballot. Every year, and many of their children, before they graduate from high school, they already secure like $50,000 for the person, $60,000 for the person to pay for their college education. They're doing so well. And the international festival we had, we raised the money just online.
Right.
We just did the social media campaign. And created an opportunity for people to donate. People donated. We raised up to $30,000 just for the festival to cover everything, the entire cost of the festival, everything. So it was a huge creativity and innovation that the leadership of the city still thinking how we actually, pull that off. Yeah.
Oh, all right. So what we're going to do now is, I know our guest has been waiting so patiently. We are going to bring in our Reverend, the Reverend Thomaz Paye. He is the liaison at Gbarnga School of Theology at the United Methodist University. And we are hoping and praying that in a very, very soon time that his position will be changed, and instead of UMU, it'll be LUL.
Bro, I was just about to ask you if you had something in the pipeline you wanted to tell us, but
no, that he'll be moving to LUL.
It's a giving. That's the giving.
You know, in soccer they have what? They have the transfer season, right? People leave from one, team to another. So we're gonna be bringing him. He's on loan, so we're gonna be bringing him back home.
What is the transfer fee?
No, we'll
Joe, what
take
is the transfer
we'll
fee?
take you back to LGL.
Oh my God.
Folks,
I'm more than Messi and Ronaldo.
I know. Well, folks, again, we want to welcome you to this conversation. It's gonna be a wonderful conversation again today. We have like we said, the Reverend Thomaz Paye. We're gonna be discussing all things LCL. I mean, nothing, nothing restricted. So we're gonna be discussing all things LCL. So please start sending in your questions, and again, Reverend want to say welcome. And we're gonna start with Brother Josiah Jokai from Danbury, and he is going to start the ball rolling.
Absolutely, Willie. Thank you, Reverend. Thank you for coming again. It's not a surprise when Willie told me that you guys had a conversation, and I was a little bit jealous. I said, "Oh, okay, Willie has jumped in front of me again. He's with Pastor Paye to talk about. He's not giving me a chance, Willie, I'm just messing with you,
I know. Yeah, but listen, quickly before the Reverend can come in. Reverend on the show one time, I told Big Joe, I said, listen, I said the ATL is cardinal point all of our people. So when you come, you got to just be around the ATL. And trust me, right now, he probably like 3.5 hours away from me. I just drive right there and we sit right in studio together.
I don't disagree.
Big Joe is all the way across.
I don't disagree with it.
So
I don't disagree at all with it. I mean, 100% you are right. I'm not going to argue that. No room for debate here. We need to get more out of Pastor Paye today.
Let's go ahead. Let's go. Great show.
Pastor Paye is in the U.S. It's so nice. Pastor Paye always does his best when he's back home in Liberia, struggling with the network and everything. I know Pastor Paye is enjoying, the stability of the network today, the connectivity. Pastor Paye, we want to say, welcome to your own show. It's been quite a while. We had our Lord Bishop here the last time. He was here. He was fantastic. I was just telling Willie when you briefly, log off that the Bishop was fantastic. I briefly, watched the show because I was not available at the time. And after the show, I rewatched it, and it was incredible. It was good. So much information when he left. So I think it actually worth it. But Pastor Paye, you are here at a critical time. You were here when Aliyah had her convention in Minneapolis. You participated along with the bishop. I want you to give us your own impression about, what you felt about the convention in its entirety. Just your own impression.
Yes, let me thank everyone, including Aliyah. And all of the brothers.
Yeah, I think the Reverend is having his network been fluctuating. Yeah, he went out, but we're very hopeful that he will be coming back. And we're very hopeful too that our sister will be joining us very shortly.
This couple is here. I forgot to talk about that.
Our sister couple Silly is here. We're excited about that. And she's doing pretty well. She's attending an event, an international finance seminar or financial seminar. She's
great, wonderful.
Yeah. So she's doing okay. And hopefully that she does like the time she don't get caught up with the time, because the timing is different from where she is and where we are. So 4 p.m. hopefully she's not thinking 4 p.m. which will be 5 p.m. our time, and the flyer carries 4 p.m. So hopefully, yeah. But
that's,
again,
that's 3 p.m. her time, right?
Yeah, that's 3 p.m. her time. She's on
3 p.m. her time.
Yeah, she's on Central time.
3 p.m. her time.
Yeah. So we have the Reverend. He's back here with us, and he can just go right ahead and speak to the Aliyah Assembly.
I really don't know what happened, but I'm sorry for that. And I missed couple today. Where is she?
PJ, the Reverend asked the question.
Oh, but Willie, couple is a event here. I don't know if
couple will be joining us very shortly.
Yeah, she's supposed to join us, Pastor Paye.
She's supposed to join very shortly. Yeah. Apparently, the time.
Yeah, maybe the timing.
I thought
we got on the flyer. We got on the flyer 4 p.m. Willie, and you know that it's 3 p.m. for couple. So it's a good question, Pastor Paye asked. I think Willie, you need to get back to couple to assist couple.
I need to do that.
Our time is not hours 4 p.m. Eastern. Her time is 3 p.m. because it's 1 hour. She's 1 hour behind us.
That's true. Yeah. I will try to reach to her while we
I thought that was a question. Yeah.
So again, as I was saying, I thank God for the opportunity and the privilege to be here and to visit the U.S. again for the third time and to experience the life together of all of the brothers and sisters, both and at Aliyah and the Liberian community. I was very excited and attended the Aliyah convention with the bishop. And I think Bishop Padmo, he's an impressive bishop. Besides being a personal friend of mine, he knows exactly what the church is and what he is doing. Bishop, if you don't want to notice, we make you notice him. He has many, many, many ways to create the level of friendship. He is so simple, but he is pushing his agenda in a way that people will accept his agenda. And I saw that the Aliyah convention was very, very, very fantastic. I listened to the reports. They are concerned for the Lutheran Church in Liberia, the university projects. And I think I got a whole lot out of that. I was so happy to see Sis Dede, Marlene, and all of the people, really, Amadou Salih, all of the people that I've been seeing for a long time. I just, some people that I've been seeing for over 20 years. I mean, Aliyah, this convention was both and discussion also about Liberia. A lot happened there, and my fear is I don't want to say much about it because Bishop is going to make a report to the Lutheran Church in Liberia. So I cannot be saying this that Bishop is going to say already. So I will kind of get touch from the the general point of view, what happened at that.
Looks like we lost Pastor Paye again. He's having a connection problem. Surprisingly, Willie. I hope Pastor Paye can come back on. But we don't really want him to go into the details, the nitty-gritty, Willie. We just want him to talk about it from a personal perspective. He's a pastor of the LCL. He attended the event. I'm sure he got his own impression. And we just wanted him to speak to our audience from that perspective. Especially those in Liberia. I know also many Lutherans in the US, some of them did not have the opportunity to attend the event. They would like to hear from somebody like Pastor Paye, a senior pastor of the LCL, telling them about his own experience.
Dropping, is it from my side or from your side?
There we go. I don't know. That's Willie's question. Willie, that's your question. They say Pastor Paye.
It's gonna be from Reverend Paye's side because maybe if he's on a cell network, the cellular network might not be strong. And
are you using the phone, Pastor Paye? From the way I see it, you using your phone, not your computer. Okay.
So maybe he want to get on
the computer or the phone.
Okay, the phone.
Okay, so one of the important things that happened there was the change of leadership. That was the elections, where Dr. Anderson, Murphy Anderson, was elected, and where Dr. Moses Swat Dennis turned over and leadership. And I didn't make any remarks, but one thing I said to Dr. Dennis after that meeting in a conversation was that he has been a fantastic leader and let that leadership usher into the proper position the new leadership. Because not only did Dr. Dennis head the Aliyah, but his home was the home for Aliyah and all Lutherans that went there. So my little brother, whom I will be talking to later, must fit himself within that perspective. Okay?
Oh, you mean the president-elect?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And one thing I said, and I even posted it, is that the most costly currency in life is relationship, not the dollar sign. What the dollar cannot do, relationship can do it. So we must foster relationship over and above the dollar. When we get relationship going, the dollar will follow. And that is why Bishop Padmore exhibited in the United States while he was here. He had relationship with everybody. I think Bishop Padmore is the only bishop that have traveled so extensively. I've been in the church for long. I've not heard of any bishop who at one time visited almost all of the area you got connection to. But Bishop Padmore did it. And thanks be to God for Dr. Moses Dennis Swak and all of the brothers and sisters. From there, I went to Baltimore. Baltimore is where Bishop went, and Bishop must have met in Baltimore. I have gone to Baltimore for two reasons. One, to be with Bishop at that meeting, and two, to attend the assembly of the Dologalangufe Alumni Association. Joe and Willie, that was one of the greatest excitement ever in my life. I met classmates 43 years ago.
Yeah.
And people who sat with me, yeah, I was so excited. They were so excited in seeing me. Everybody wanted to take me home to various places, but I was just one person, so everybody could not carry me. So I chose to be with Reverend Joseph Manning, and who is now the pastor, I think, at the People's Community Lutheran Church. And I think I got a whole lot to say, but Bishop has a lot to say, and I hope that we all will listen to him soon. Thank you to all of you. Joe wanted me to go all the way to New York by fire, by force. I said the Joe is not possible.
Pastor, you talk about Dr. Dennis, and it's always emotional when I talk, about Dr. Dennis's compassion, his leadership qualities. It's difficult for you to find Lutherans who come to the U.S. Without encountering Dr. Dennis. His home is open. Dr. Dennis' home is practically open to everyone. He hosted me, I think about 2 different times. I went there, in the capacity of a speaker before. That was some 6-7 years ago on one of my vacations. I went there. He hosted me. I spoke. It was at the school at his church. There was a major Liberian Delaware Valley Ministers Assembly. They invited me as a guest speaker. I spoke. I mean, the way the family treated me, the hospitality. He is so good. I mean, he is just a nice person. Down to earth, and many Lutherans, say that about him and his leadership style, everything he has done, setting up Aliyah, running it so effectively, bringing it to this point, and ensuring a small leadership transition. I think that is something historic that has gone down, in the annals of history, and we can easily forget about that. I'm so glad that you're experiencing. I just need to listen. I can imagine what Bishop is going to be saying about that, about his hospitality and his leadership style. But Pastor, you You don't have to tell us exactly what the proceedings were. I know Bishop is going to do his report, but from your personal perspective, what are some of the things that you saw that went specifically that you want to pinpoint that went very well, or any other thing that you think that they need to step up on a little bit going forward? Any message you have for the new leadership, because they are all following. Every one of them follow the show. They are all following the show. So maybe if you have something to say about those, you can go right ahead. Maybe.
Yeah. Like I said again, there are recommendations that Bishop will put forward. What I think Bishop needs to do, and he has been expressing that, is manpower development. And the relationship between us and the partner should be strengthened, practically strengthened. There should be exchanges, like you talk about Phoebe Hospital, the transportation system. You talk about volunteer doctors that will go there. He talks about the Lutheran University in LTI, about volunteer instructors, so that the whole university will be strengthened. And one of the things, Bishop is very, very determined to make sure that the university work before his tenure can end. And he's very, very, very serious about that. And so the manpower development you talk about, I believe very strongly that, yes, he can get that going right away. He should jumpstart that. Sending people, the younger people, for doctoral studies, and they can come back in various discipline, both pastors and lay people. Let them come back, train, and serve the university.
Yeah, I think that sounds good. Manpower development is an issue in the country nationally, not just the LCL, but the LCL can do a lot with the opportunities she has right now. Strengthening the relationship with Aliyah, I think, is cardinal towards that end. Opening up new fronts. We have the LTR situation that you guys are working on. We have the Lutheran University project that you guys are working on. And I think that if we succeed in really revamping LTR, revitalizing it, and then setting up the Lutheran University, I think it's going to open a lot of fronts in terms of student exchange, expanding beyond Lutheran institutions in the Americas, looking at other institutions, that will absorb Lutheran students from back home in Liberia. We can all work together to open up the opportunities in terms of identifying institutions that we can all connect with. So the emphasis that the bishop's leadership is placing on educating people in the LCA, I think is important. Willie, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that our church is going to reach the point at which she wants to. I just want to go back a little bit. I know the conversation is not about Aliyah, but speaking of Reverend Dennis, it's one thing. This was his strength, or I would say is his strength. And most time he will always say that if you want to go fast, you go alone, but if you want to go far, you go together. That's one principle he's always guided by, and he always, try to bring people around him, surround himself with people that will help him, achieve a major goal. So if our church will follow the same pattern, I think we are going to get there. Like you mentioned, and also the Reverend Paye stated earlier, Bishop is going to be coming on the platform. He's going to be making his report to the Lutheran Church in Liberia. He's going to be coming on this platform. He's going to talk about his trip. It's a month-long trip. He's going to talk about it. There's some conversation that we had while he was here. We cannot go ahead right now to talk about it. There are a lot of exciting information. So we are waiting. We're waiting for the bishop to come here. But again, we just want to encourage the church to be open, and I mean, seeing Aliyah being together up until this time, it takes, a leader who is willing to listen, a leader who is willing to incorporate other people, to work along. So yeah, absolutely, Bijo.
Right, wonderful. Absolutely, the leadership exhibited, demonstrated by Dr. Dennis was great. But Pastor Paye,
can I mention?
Right. Go ahead, Pastor.
Can I mention something?
Yeah, go ahead, Reverend Paye, go ahead.
One of the things that impressed me about Bishop visit is that every group that Bishop met with that wanted to do something in Liberia, Bishop encouraged them not to be far away from the LCL. They should be a part and parcel of the planning and the implementation. That means if you have a vision to do anything, like the Totota group, they want to do something with the Lutheran school in Totota. Bishop said to them, thank you, but whatever you have come to Totota is not only the money that we need your presence to participate in what you want to do, so you know exactly what is going on, so you are able to have accountability of the fund that you want to spend. And I think this is what Bishop wants. That whatever sent is sent, who sends it, they say, in Gbarnga, they can say, put your mouth where your money is. That's what we used to do. So if you spend your money, your mouth will be there because you want accountability. And that's one of the things that impressed me about everywhere he appeared.
Great, wonderful. That's good. And that's what good leaders should do. I mean, openness, inclusivity is very important. Making people feel a part of an organization that they belong to is very, very important. It gives them that sense of belongingness. We got something called organizational citizenship behavior. When somebody is part of an organization and they have the latitude to contribute as much as they can, it makes them feel that citizenship, that belongingness to the organization, so they can go the extra mile. It's not that they're doing a piece of job for somebody or for a group of people, but they see it as doing a piece of job for themselves. So they adopt that citizenship mindset, and they can do more. So I can see where the bishop comes from with that, hey, you're not just going to be doing favor for your people, but you'll be doing it for yourself, so don't just give us money, but you get involved, you visit, you sit with us, plan it with us, let's do it together, let's achieve it together. Wele, I want to take the time to welcome our sister, Sis Couple.
Yes.
Sis Couple, Couple, we need to see your face, man. Stop being in the dark, Couple.
I know, Couple. You need to show your face, Couple, please.
Sis Couple, we see you for a while now. Couple, welcome, man. Willie, I think you want to poke up on the screen so Couple can talk to us.
Thank you, Roger.
Couple, go ahead. People want to see you. Everyone's asking about you.
Let me see.
There you go.
There you go. There she is. Rabbi, you are asking for your daughter there.
Your daughter is here. Couple, your dad is here. He was concerned about you when the show started. And he said, where's Couple? I don't see Couple. I'm not going to talk. I want to see anything.
He said it's fine now. He said it's fine.
Larry, how you doing?
Couple want to say welcome. We are glad that you're here with us this evening again. I think since the wedding, this is the first time we've come together as a group. So she been here and Joe wasn't here and Joe came on. She's been trying to connect. So this is the first time that she has joined us as a team. But while Reverend Paye is coming in, right? I just want to say that
Willie, you gotta try to leave this thing. Sis Couple is on. Let Sis Couple have a little.
Let me be quiet. Go ahead, Couple. Ask your pastor some question. Ask your Pape some question. Let me be quiet.
You ready?
Yeah.
Victor, I think you have to go ahead. I will come in later, please.
Okay.
Oh,
All
okay.
right.
Okay, so all right, we got you. Just hit us, just let us know in the chat. I'm ready, and we'll put you on. So
Sure.
wonderful. Willie, you can go ahead.
Right. No, I wanted to
Willie, don't
say.
forget, Dr. Dennis is watching. Don't forget. So Dr. Dennis want to say hi to you.
You know, he's not only a follower, but he is a supporter of this program in every form. He is a supporter. So, you know, some of us are tempted to say some things like conversation that we have with the bishop, but we're going to try to restrain ourselves. But we think that there are a lot of prospects for our church. You know, I mean, I don't know from previous bishops. I haven't really, had the opportunity to be close to them at the time, but with the conversation that we had in Minneapolis, and I really feel this sense of responsibility for our church when I was approached directly. It's not like I know the bishop addressed everyone, but he took his time. He came to me directly and personally and gave me a charge. So I'm waiting for the bishop to come up here. He's gonna, make all of the he's gonna make his report to the Lutheran Church in Liberia, and he's gonna come here and tell us how his month-long visit, as you may call it, or his month-long mission, or was here in the U.S. And again, we want to say that we are very much grateful and we're glad that the bishop, he's back in Liberia. Today is not Aliyah's day, but we just want to say, a big appreciation to Aliyah. Aliyah, thank you for the recognition. By God's grace, like we've promised, we will always be around. As long as God continues to bless us, He continues to protect us, we will continue to be around and we will give back because this is a responsibility that God has given us. In the gospel, Jesus spoke about talents. So, in the sense that God has given us this talent, we'll continue to use this talent to better our church. Bijo, you
remove this. Yeah.
Yeah. So no, I was just speaking, saying that there are a lot of great opportunities that that lie ahead, of our church, specifically the Lutheran University project. Also, that's something we will also have. Since Madia Ray Carpet, she will come on the show. We'll be inviting her to come and speak of the Lutheran University project, and that is a signature project that is on the minds of like every member of Aliyah. That I can say for a fact. Every member of Aliyah. That is a project.
Yeah, well, that's true. And let me just come in before I lose the train of my thought. I wanted to ask Pastor Paye, after everything, participating in the assembly, the Aliyah assembly, and he's returning to Liberia this week. I wanted to ask him what exactly he's taking with him to Liberia.
Right.
What is he going to propose or to work on? To bring about some of the changes required to move the church forward. So that's a critical question. I'm saying that to you so we both can just note that, just in case I forget to ask Pastor Paye before the show ends. You can also ask in that question. Oh, Pastor Paye, welcome. I'm not going to waste time, Pastor Paye, because I know of the network issue. I wanted to ask, after coming, spending the time and participating in the assembly, interacting with different Lutheran groups and individuals, I wanted to ask, what exactly are you taking back home? Is there anything that has changed? Some of the things your way of perceiving or looking at some of the things back home in the country, is there anything that has changed so far that you're taking back home positively? You care to talk about it?
Yeah, let me talk. One of the things that I learned is the unity between the Lutherans. Are you hearing me? Are you hearing me?
Yes, Pastor Paye, I can hear you. Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you, Reverend. Go ahead, please.
Okay. And one of the things that I learned is the way you Lutherans are uniting yourselves. You in the diaspora are doing everything to have yourselves united. Then we at home should unite ourselves. It is true that the political era in our country is dividing when you are in church or in social gathering. People are divided because they have diverse political affiliation and opinions. But that's not place in our church. We should not allow politics to separate us. We can have our political affiliation, but when we come to Christ, Christ becomes the common denominator for everyone. Yes. So we should use that means to stay together and build our church. One of the things that has undermined the growth of the church and the support of the church is the division that we have in our various political interests. So I think Lutherans at home should look at that critically and see how that can be transformed. The second thing I'm taking by home is to work together for our church as Lutherans, to grow the hearts for the growth of the church. Because you see, the church cannot, if we don't put in the resources necessary, and nobody will come from out there to build our church. We can do it if we have mind. That's those two things on my mind as I return. The third one has to do with where I work as a liaison officer for the Lutheran Church and in Liberia on theological education. Here, theological education is very, very important, and the church is willing to support. There are people willing to go to theological school. So we need to now look at the younger people who have the desire to attain theological education. Let's push them. And most of the pastors like myself, who are old enough and getting into the teaching field, let's make sure that we push the younger people, because we have to inject into our church the younger leadership so that tomorrow we will have people to replace us. We can, as older people, we can be fighting for instance, if Bishop assign me as a parish pastor, I will not accept that, because those children that are brought up, they are already parish pastors. They myself cannot fight for parish. It's not fair. I should be there to guide them, to educate them, and to direct them in what they do. So that's some of the things I'm looking at. And I saw a couple, my dear and beloved sister and daughter. Since she got married, we have not met face to face. And I know she's angry with me a little bit because I should have been in that marriage. So Congo man say from foot to feet. But I was not there. It was because of the many engagement I had. So couple, I love you, and I can never stop loving you as a daughter and a sister. Congratulations. When I come to Liberia, we'll talk the father and daughter business. I'm glad to see you. I'm waving to you. You didn't even wave to me. I know you are angry, and what human being supposed to do. So if you're hearing me, I'm just happy to see you.
I like that, Reverend Paye. I like that.
Unmute yourself and talk to the
out directly. Calling your sister.
Oh, sorry.
Cisco, put the boy is in your code. I wanted to make some comments after Pastor Paye's
Yes. What
points in your code.
Larry said, I didn't wave to him. No, Larry, I spoke to you when I came on. I spoke to you, Larry. Yeah,
but you have not waved. You still have not waved. You still have not. You have not waved yet.
You have not waved, couple.
Larry, you're struggling to get on. Larry, I'm waving now. Hello, Larry. We will settle our differences.
Thank you.
Just leave that. We will settle
I come in. I come in. That why I made it public in this international wire, so people know.
We will settle him. We will settle him.
Right. So couple, you got any comments to make or questions for Pastor Paye?
Yes, I just want to tell Reverend thank you. When Reverend was speaking just now, he mentioned about his work back home, that is as a liaison officer between the church. And he spoke about the students, those young people who have interest in the theology school, right? School of Theology. And another thing he mentioned is that seeing how best you can help these people enter, especially for our young people. Everybody see the field as a place where, I don't know, whether because there is no money or what, or everybody don't want to be called pastor, or they think that when you are called pastor, then it means you are holy and solely obligated to the Bible, but I don't know. So what mechanism are you people putting in place to see that most of our young people get in a field of study, especially from our various parishes? And what are those things that if even I don't have the money to go there, but I have interest in going there, how can you people help in the process of educating those young people that have interest in the field?
Okay. There's a break-in, but I clearly heard you, even though there's a break-in. One of the mechanisms to put into place is encouraging the young people. And we should not only say that, but we should move into the parishes, talk to the younger people, do what we call leadership on those who have theological interests. We can get them, and there are parishes, we can speak to the parishes. The parishes can interview them, recommend them, they can apply. They will apply to the parish. The parish will interview them and recommend them to the district. The district will interview, recommend them to the board, and the board will interview them, recommend them for theological education. The next step is to look for the fundings. We need local funding, mainly local fundings. What I have seen over the years, over the few a year and some months I've been at GST, is that students come from the parishes, and the parishes don't have any interest in their support. The only parish that I saw that supporting students since I've been there is St. Matthew. They've been supporting Edward Cotterman, and we just absorbed Edward into the scholarship now. So whatever support St. Matthew will have, we'll have to send it to LCL for theological education, because we're going to take care of Edward's fees, his stipend, and everything at the United Methodist University GSD stroke. And so if we have any student coming into GSD being recommended by the parish, we will go out there and make what we call provide information about theological education. The opportunity that lies before us, I think, is one of the responsibilities I have as a liaison officer, to move from district to district, parish to parish, and to talk about theological education. A couple is right. Many times, the students don't come or apply for theological education, and not that they don't have the interest, but the information not there. When we provide the information, They can come. Another question that students been asking me is, after theological education, what next? Bishop had told me that when you are serving as instructor and a lecturer and a liaison officer, watch the students as they grow up in the theology in the seminary. Not everybody that go to seminary are pulpit pastors.
Yeah. That's
Some of
another
them,
thing.
yeah.
I was
Some of them,
coming with.
some of them can be teachers.
Yeah.
Some of them can be counselors. And like there is a boy called Bakule. Bakule was in Cotton. He spent 3 semesters there before coming for theological study. He was doing financing. Right now, I am encouraging him to apply to the church after he's graduating this year, and we want to send him to back to Cotton to do church after he completes his financial studies. We send him, let him do church financing. Church financing is different from the other financing, even though they all incorporated. But like Bayer, who served for so long, James Bayer was trained by the ELCA as a church financial officer. And that's why he was saying the people always say, so we need somebody that we can train. We need environmentalists. One of the things the church is forgetting is to grow together with environmental education. Because you see, the environment is being destroyed, the forest is being depleted. Who are they doing it? Liberians who are Liberian, they are the very people that we find in the church and other places. So we need to put emphasis on education. Another thing we need to do is to see justice and peace. We need to put more money into justice and peace, and we need to do something about what we call women education in our church. And this is very important. We don't have, how many female lawyers we have in the LCL? We don't have many. We need to put money into that. The more we educate the people, the better our church will become tomorrow. You see the Methodist Church, you see the Catholic Church, you see the Baptist Church. When you go into the high places where you got Google lawyers, they are from those churches. What is the Lutheran Church doing? The Lutheran Church is considered the cradle of education, even nursing education in this country. We've never been able to establish one college only recently. We don't even have a university. We gave seat to the SDA church. See what SDA is doing now. In Phoebe, where I work, they bring their students there for affiliation. I'm so ashamed and embarrassed. So these are some of the things we need to do. There are more, but those are the few that I think we can start with.
Yes, yeah, Reverend, just a follow-up question. You talk about people not being only a puppet pastor. So in that direction, are we thinking on, when I say we now, we as a Lutheran or the church, are we thinking on creating that department that will be responsible for such, at least to make the area lively where people will develop interest in that particular study? Like one time I visited a Baptist church, I went for an ordination, and all of the pastors, they were like, minister for music, minister for counseling, minister for this. You know, it was not just puppet pastor. Yeah, they just go on the pulpit because everybody will not have the same zeal to get on the pulpit to preach. So when I'm ordained as a pastor, I'm not going on the pulpit. I should be sent to an area where I will be able, I will work in or I will perform adequately instead of going on the pulpit. So are we thinking on that as a church in creating that department? Because you just said it fun. So I don't know whether are we thinking on that in time to come so people can create interest in the field.
Bishop Palmer is very determined about that. That's why he said we should watch the development of the students as they enter theological seminary. I just told you about Edwin Bakole. He was doing finance at Cottington. He went 3 years before he had a call of God. So I am recommending that after his theological study, when he get his bachelor, we send him back to Cottington, let him complete the 1 year or the 3 semesters, and then we have opportunity for him to do church financing, come back and work for the church. For instance, you have
Pastor Paye,
like,
that reminds me, Pastor Paye, sorry for the interruption. To couple's question also, doesn't the theological seminary have areas of specialization? Like somebody wants to become a pastor to go through the training, they don't have an area of interest, say like they want to become a counselor, you know, they want to yes, you know. Don't we have that?
Yeah, we have sacred theology. I'm a lecturer in that area too. You can graduate from GST in sacred theology, and you can work as counselor. We have social worker. You can go there and graduate. You can become a social worker in that area. You can be a chaplain, a PB. You can be you can work me in any area where like there are what we call companies that need counselors, industrial counselors. So when you are doing counseling, those are all components. If you just say you want to be specialized in that area, the opportunity can be provided for you. It's not just and
sorry, Bijo, and Reverend. Sorry, I don't want to forget this. I just want to make this point that because from what you just explained, saying that there are areas for people to specialize, you know, area of specialty when they go to GST, and also you said earlier that the bishop has, you know, informed you that, you know, your office should monitor these students at GST, so that, you know, in order to choose their path. But what I actually, it's not really a question, but it's a recommendation that as they are filling out these forms, saying that, you know, expressing their interest to go to seminary, they should also state areas like they want to specialize in, so that we don't have to wait for them to go there before. Maybe they can choose 1 or 2 or 3 on the form, saying that my primary area is to you know, words and sacrament. Then my secondary area is to like counseling or chaplain, you know, just like that. So that when they get there, they can be guided by what they have chosen. Then when they get there, already, you know, confused, and you know, that's the point I actually just want to make. Maybe you can speak to that, because from what I understand is that it's not already it's not in place. That's what I understand.
When you go to set the interview, you are asked.
Okay.
Yeah, you fill in the form and you are asked, after theological study, what is it that you want to get into? What discipline? Some people can say they want to do BRE, Bachelor in Religious Education. That's it. That's a teaching job. Or you can become a school administrator, but you are given all of the qualifications, the material that qualifies you to be a teacher, just like when people graduate from KRTTR or CRTTR. So when you come there, you want to be fine. The next thing I wanted to say is that until the Lutheran University is kicked off at Totota, we are not concentrating all of our students at GST for now, because some people are in Monterey, they were already in school. Like we have 2 ladies now that are within the Zion, AME Zion. That's Helena Banai, Mrs. Helena Banai. She is she's doing theological education, and we're going to absorb that. We're going to she's from the Barnesville Parish. Yeah. We're going to absorb her, and then we have the Reverend Lopu Maolo. She's already at Zion. We will. She's already been absorbed. Okay, so there are other students that we don't know yet, but as soon as the school kick off in Totota, then we'll concentrate all of our theological students in Totota, because that will be the seminary for studies, and it will also have education as a component, because those are the two things I heard Bishop saying. We start theology and education, and we will be adding the others to the university. So when that happens, all of the new students that are coming, they will go directly to Totota.
Wonderful, Pastor. We got a lot of interesting comments and some questions, but Willie is going to share. But I just wanted to piggyback on the lessons you learned, from the assembly and from your trip here interacting with different parishes and groups here. I think that was quite interesting, Pastor. You talk about the way we do unity here amongst us as Lutherans, and that's one of the aspects I really wanted to give it out to Reverend Dennis, because not everybody has really been willing from the self perspective. He has really been moving people individually and as a group. He has really been that fulcrum of keeping the group together and spinning, as a team. So we have to give it up for him. He has really done well to unite us in the Americas. I think it's really, really great. The other thing you talk about, politics and dedication. I think that is so critical. Politics and dedication. Something you learn, to go back and share with people, hey, we can maintain our political identities and work with our political groups, but at the same time remain dedicated to our religious responsibility, our religious commitment. And that's something we do here greatly. And even at the national level here, people are partisans, the Republicans, the Democrats, but that doesn't change them. If they are Christians, they work together. So that's a great thing. You went to school here before, you know it. And then the opportunities that you think you can identify to work with the Theological Seminary. I think those are three great lessons that you indicated you're taking home. And it's fantastic. I just wanted to highlight that. Willie, I think it's over to you. We can recognize our guests and we can talk about some of the great comments that we see coming in.
Sure, absolutely. And Brother Rich Kid Brother Rich Kid Kennedy, and he's right there. He's watching from home. Brother Leroy Molba.
Salon Kwele. Don't dodge that, Willie. You don't speak Pele well. You don't speak London well.
Long Kwele.
Pastor Paye, I got him. Pastor Paye, I got him.
You see how he be treating me here? You see how they be treating me?
Jose is not pronouncing it. Joe is not pronouncing the word correctly. It's Sulankole.
Oh well. You see that? And our Father Menikole K. Small. That's me. I pronounce it very well. Our sister Nyakwi Jokoyan Weeks. I don't know if this is Wiki. I don't know if this is a brother or sister or it's related to Reverend Wiki, Reverend Jumani Wiki. The Reverend Dr. Swa is here. He said great conversation. The Reverend Dr. Eric Molly Allison was also asking about the topic for today. We also had it posted.
I think we just talked about that a little bit. Reverend Allison, we just want to let you know that it's an open conversation with Reverend Paye. Yes. He's a senior pastor. He attended the Aliyah Assembly. We wanted to know his own impression and what he's taking back with him to Liberia. And I'm sure you follow those three cardinal things he mentioned: how we do unity here in the U.S. amongst us, and then how we do politics and dedication. It can work back home, and then how we create opportunities, right?
And he largely credited that to the leadership of Reverend Dr. Moses Dennis. He did credit that to Reverend Dr. Dennis. The Reverend Ire Sakodo. It seems that you have an announcement here. We have to.
This is good.
We need to bring you on the show to talk about this, Reverend.
Not only that, Willie, Reverend Do needs to pay for this public service announcement.
This is public service, so you need to pay for this. You are running the entire program, Reverend Do.
Reverend Do, I'm just kidding. I'm just messing with you, Reverend Do. Let's go back to that. That's very important. Willie, let's go back to that. That's very crucial. I want to talk about that. And Reverend Do is talking about, the Lutheran Church in Liberia school system launching building this academic and extracurriculum program for 2023-2024 academic year. This is great. This is so great. And like Willie said, Reverend Do has to come sit down and tell us about each of the creating a link for the platform for schools, the website. So I'm sure it's going to be an interactive website where each of us can go and then just click on links and see the different information about the Lutheran school system's work and how it is managing, the various schools within the system and how they are monitored and everything electronically, having reports. And this is awesome. I think this is going to be great. People globally will have access to information regarding the way the school system, the Lutheran schools are being managed. I think this is great. I look forward to it. But Willie, are you going to take the initiative to have Reverend Do come over?
No, Reverend Do is definitely going to come on. Let's look at our schedule. Next Sunday is the 10th. We can have Reverend Do to come on because
wonderful. We can do that. Yeah, we can. And by the way, Reverend Do, I like your profile picture. It's a soccer team picture. I'm wondering if you can still play soccer, Reverend Do. Maybe you want to talk to us about that a little.
Reverend Do is managing a sports. Reverend Do is managing a sports academy, so that's why you see the soccer, the soccer picture in the background. Yeah,
good to know.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So and also we have our sister. Dede Sana, she's from Bartmansville Parish.
Wonderful.
Dede Sana, and I believe she was in leadership with the LYF before. Brother Emmanuel Tor, Emmanuel Y. Tor, we want to say thank you. And he's monitoring from Gbarnga. He's monitoring there from Gbarnga.
That's great. Central Liberia. That's great.
Right. And we have a comment and we also have a question. The comment here is from the Reverend Dr. Dennis. As we're speaking with Reverend Paye regarding area of specialties in the church, so he was also trying to clarify that.
Well, can we leave this on a little bit? If Pastor Paye is looking at it, let him tell us something about it. Pastor Paye, that's something for Reverend.
And maybe we can get Reverend Dennis to just chime in, verbally on this as well. We can try to.
Reverend Dennis can come in if he wants the link. Willie, you can send it to him. Let him hop on just for 2-3 minutes. No problem. But I think Reverend Paye can talk about this a little bit. War sacrament, pastors, word, and service.
Yeah. So he was talking about two roster leaders in the church. Yeah.
Reverend Paye, do you see it?
Yeah, and I think we should also bring in Dr. Dennis. He's talking about, here you have a pastor is roster. When you are roster, there are two roster pastors here in the United States. Okay. You have pastors that are engaged with word and sacrament.
Right.
That's pastor, and then you got the word and service. You're talking about the diaconal, which is the deacons in the ELCA. And what the ELCA does is that it has separated that in a very unique way. For instance, when you are a roster pastor, there are pastors who are roster pastors. There are pastors who are not roster pastors here in the United States. So,
that's a great point he was making. You are making a great point. Yeah.
Yes. And we got a great question for him from Dr. Allison. That's
Dr. Allison. Yes. And we are hoping that the Reverend Dennis can join us. And we are also hoping that the Reverend Allison can join us as
well. So what I want to say, let's invite Dr. Dennis. Let Dr. Dennis explain to us how that is done here. Because actually in Liberia, when you talk about roster pastor, everyone that is ordained, we just put them into one pot. We say these are the pastors of the Lutheran Church in Liberia. There was a time we were saying pastors in the diaspora are now active pastors in Liberia. That brought a huge controversy.
We'll talk about that a little bit.
So from his perspective, we should know, let's know who are the roster pastor and who are those that are not roster pastor. Let's get the experience from him.
Yeah.
Folks, if you are tuning, this is MLC Talk.
MLC Talk,
my Lutheran Connections talk. We are here every Sunday at this time. I know the past few Sundays, very few Sundays, we were in here, and you know exactly why. We had the Aliyah convention ongoing. Willie was busy with our technical man. Also, we have the ambassador busy with elections in the sub-region. He was busy with Freetown. Now it's Monrovia. We have Sis Couple also here with us. We also, you know, being busy on different projects. I was busy with the Danbury International Festival, something that I led here for the entire city and the region that brought together thousands of people to celebrate diversity, culture, and unity. Those are some of the pictures from the International Festival. That's the African tent. That's a huge event we had. You see the Liberian flag. Those are the people I brought together, and I was the leader. That's me with the Indian tambourine right there, celebrating the Indian culture. That's me right there with some of my team members. That's Javi from Liberia. He attended. That's me with the leader of the Sikh. That's me with the mayor of Danbury. Willie, you want to go back to that picture a little bit? The mayor of Danbury. Willie, you took picture with him. That's all.
Yeah, I did. I took picture with him.
Let's show the one that he's on.
No, Reverend, I took picture with the mayor.
Yeah, the mayor and his wife, and that's my wife right there. Yeah.
But first we have a wonderful show going on today.
Right.
We have with us in studio the Reverend Dr. Moses Dennis. He's here as well.
Oh, Dr. Dennis. We can get him anytime. We know how to raise him. You see, Pastor Paye, you see that?
Already.
Pastor Paye, we know where to find Dr. Dennis. We know where to find him. Willie, you need to switch Dr. Dennis on, man, on the screen,
yes.
Willie.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh my God. Dr. Dennis, whatever you are doing, thank you for joining us from where you are. Dennis, it's good to have you on. We're going to bring you on to talk exclusively about the Just Ended Assembly and where Aliyah is going. But for today, we want you to tell us a little bit about what you just said. A word sacrament, pastors, and word and service and diaconia, deacons in the ELC. What is that?
Thank you. It's a pleasure to see all of you. And Reverend Paye, thank you. Great show. Just for full disclosure, Reverend Paye was my first pastor in the LCL. So I have a high honor, high respect for him. He really brought me into the fold. So it's a great honor to share the platform with him. So like you all say, you were talking about the leadership of the church, and in the ELC, they have come to that place where they have two professional rosters. So it's two professional rosters, those who are word and sacrament, that is pastors, and then they have word and service, those who are trained with theological education, but focus on services. Like in the United States, we have hospitals, we have schools, we have nursing homes, and a lot of, institutions that are owned by the church. And you don't have to be a pastor ordained to word and sacrament to serve them. You can be ordained to word and service. So that's what I was trying to point into when you were asking Reverend Paye whether the church was taking in that direction. And the ELCA being the parent church of the LCO, I think we can adapt that same system as our church grows and become a bigger and a larger church with a lot of institutions that needs to be run by professional roster people who are not necessarily pastors but professional in their own area of callings. And I must add this, the ELCA have more institutions than I would dare to say churches. In fact, the social service institution of the ELCA touches 1 in every 10 American lives with the services they provide, whether through college, education, nursing home, group home, elementary school, daycare, and the list go on and on and on. So that's what I was trying to contribute to that conversation. So, yeah. Can you all hear me?
Bijo, you are muted. Unmute yourself, Bijo. Unmute yourself, please.
And sorry about the Children's Hospital in Philadelphia. I came to do a pastoral visit, but I really saw the show interesting, and I paused to participate before I went into the hospital room.
But what are you? What are you? Are you both word and sacrament? Are you three in both word and sacrament?
Yes. So that's one roster. Word and sacrament is one.
It's one, yeah.
And then word and
service.
Oh, word and service. Are you three in word and service?
No, but I am the executive director for most of our social service ministry in the church. So you don't have to be trained in both, but pastors can serve in both areas. But those who are word and service are restricted to only service. So that is
you are a natural leader, Dr. Dennis. That's all I can say about that. You are a natural leader. You are
I'm gonna tell you that there's a program called CPE, Clinical Pastoral Fellowship. Education, sorry, clinical pastoral education. So seeing him in the hospital, he potentially is serving in that capacity, or he's going to perform that duty.
Reverend Dennis, are you guys admitting Willie into the seminary?
into the war and service?
The young man has all the gifts of a leader, whether roster to word and service or word and sacrament. And this ministry he's doing, this can come under word and service. He's still propagating the gospel, not just from the pulpit or administering the sacraments. So that's the major difference between word and service, word and sacrament. Word and sacrament, you get to do the sacrament, which is baptism and communion. But word and service, you get to do everything else except the sacraments. That's the major difference.
Couple, I wouldn't be surprised if Willie came and told us that he's already in seminary.
I know it.
Yeah.
The good news is there's 100% scholarship for both roster. If you word and service or word and sacrament, there's 100% scholarship with the ELCA.
Wow.
So my whole scheme for me, we got to go to the hospital.
Reverend Dennis, we got to let you go, but we're going to bring you back to talk to us. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you, Reverend. Oh, wow. Reverend Paye, there you have it. Reverend Paye, over to you. He just explained exactly what it is. But Reverend Paye, we have a question here for you from Dr. Allison before we miss out on that. From Dr. Allison, we will ask Dr. Allison's question. It's very critical. He said, and I'm going to read verbatim. Willie, can you screen it, please? So that,
sure.
Yeah, thank you. He said, if this question is appropriate, then please ask Reverend Paye. Is he a part of the team that is working on the forthcoming College of Theology seminary under the Lutheran University in Liberia? Thank you. That's the question.
Oh, okay. If Reverend Paye is a part of the team that is working on the forthcoming College of Theology, okay. By my position, I am a member of the Board of Ministry, Theology, and Evangelism. That is a part and parcel also of the committee, and I am not directly on the committee as it should be, but I am a part of the every time the BMTEA meets. I am a part of the BMTEA, and because I have to make a report to the BMTEA that makes report at the Executive Council. But I wanted to say two things about what Dr. Dennis said. In our church, in Germany, is clear, just as it is clear, the distinction is made, what we call lay leadership or deacons or deaconesses. You know, in our Lutheran church, there are two type of ordination. You got the ordained, you are ordained as a deacon to word and sacrament. You are ordained as a pastor to word and sacrament. Then we got deacons also in the churches that are responsible to assist the church in preparing the church for worship and even relief. They are the one, and they are other important responsibility that these word and service that they have here, we do it, but we have not been able to classify them. So today we learn the distinction between the various responsibility. And it is my hope that the chairman of the BMTEA is listening. You know what? Many people don't want to be pastors. They just want to serve God. They go to theological seminary, they learn, but they won't come back and serve, not to be an ordained minister. So we think that everyone who goes and graduates from a theological seminary, we should ordain them to be pastors. No, some of them just want to do the work of service. When I was in Germany, I saw it clear like that. When I was studying in Geneva, I saw it clear like that. So I just want to thank Dr. Dennis for sharing the American experience with us.
Yes.
Coming back to Dr. Allison, everything we do on the Lutheran Connections here, it helps us to move a step further. When there is something that we are not involved with, and we get involved, since the seminary is still in this planting stage, or stage 1.5, if I may call it, then we need to study some of these things and expand the committee, bring in members who have the responsibility of ensuring that the right things are done. So thank you for asking that question. I am not directly involved with that committee. I'm directly involved with the BMTEA on theological education.
Wow, wonderful, Pastor Paye. Sis Couple, you wanted to come in.
Yes. It was like for what Reverend Dele said, that was something that I put out there to Reverend. Everybody will not want to go on the pulpit. People will want to serve. Like you look at most of our institutions, they say they are strictly headed by pastors. So I think we need to leave from that stage and go to another stage. The pastor can take over, but it shouldn't be like only pastor is responsible for that. I think there are some lay people who want to serve. They can see themselves serving in that capacity, but if we just limit it to pastor, let her come back to the youth. The youth director will always say, youth director should be a pastor, he should be a pastor, but there are some lay people out there who have worked with the young people and they know how to go along with the young people than the pastor. So I think we need to be looking in that direction too, Larry.
That is critical, Sis Couple.
Yes.
I don't want you to go far. Pastor Paye, do you agree to that?
Father and daughter.
You know, Papa is a smart little girl.
Reverend, you asked for her when you came here.
Oh,
Look at you.
Don't overlook Couple. When she's talking softly, she's making serious point and driving them through. But what I can say to Couple is that every time we are learning, even me, I'm still learning. When I entered the Phoebe College of Health Sciences as a teacher, I started to learn new things. As a lecturer, I listened to the students' experiences, and I learn every day. I always told them, as a teacher, you learn. And a teacher that does not want to learn from the students, they will always fail. So sometimes when Couple talks, I listen to it, and when I get back, I look into my notes, and then I say, well, it's time to sometimes transform some of the things. I think people just need to know their responsibilities in the church, in the congregation, when it comes to words and sacrament, when word and service. We need to make that very clear and distinct, so people will know their responsibility and we wouldn't have any problem going. But right now, some of the things are very confusing. I hope the chairman of the board of ministry, theology and evangelism and adjudication is listening tonight to this very important conversation by the Lutheran Connections.
All right, words and sacrament, word and sacrament, word and service. The Reverend Thomaz Paye, we want to thank you very, very much. You always show up, even at the 11th hour, and we need you. You will always show up for us. So we want to say thank you. Thank you so much for being here with us today, folks. We want to say thank you so much. But we just want to show you. I mean, someone as a question, it is not only about just the the event was not held at the Lutheran church or a Lutheran church, but a Lutheran. That's where, for me, I see the connection. A Lutheran heading such an event, such a huge event, and a Liberian Lutheran for that matter. So I just want to, just play this, a very proud Lutheran. I am proud today, proud that a Lutheran, not only a Lutheran, but a Liberian Lutheran, such a historic event in in a city where I would say where nobody knows him, but because of God, the grace of God, and his service to the church, that he was able to put this together, for his community. So we just
it's what Danbury is all about, right? How about a round for Danbury, Connecticut? Thank you all so much. We're going to have a great night tonight. Everybody's going to party and socialize together to be able to hear all different types of music and different kind of foods. So God bless you all. Thank you for coming. God bless Danbury. Thank you, Dean. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get started with the national anthem that will be sang by this wonderful lady, Brittany B. Atención, por favor, for the national anthem.
So right after the national anthem, we'll just listen to the speech by our dear brother. And then we will be we will be, like we said, we're just going to share with you just a little bit. We have this video file that we want to share with you, and
Executive Director.
Sorry.
That's it.
De mis raíces yo no puedo olvidarme. Julie, dime a ver qué lo que. My name is Maria Matos. I'm the Executive Director of Lira Mosaic. Dominicano soy. De mis raíces yo no puedo olvidarme. Julie, dime a ver qué lo que.
My name is Josiah F. Joka Jr., Director of the Mosaic Coalition, the organization that oversaw the organizing of the Danbury International Festival.
No.
Who has a license?
So you do need a food permit, and I can send you the link to obtain your temporary food license from the city of Danbury.
First, I want to talk about the organization. It was unbelievable. It was a lot of fun. We were able to learn a lot about all the different communities that exist in Danbury. Danbury is a very, very diverse city. It's unbelievable the amount of different communities that we have here, and they were all willing to participate. So thank you so much to all the communities that we just have to get the phone, give them a call, and they were all here, willing to do whatever it takes to showcase their culture.
I feel very fulfilled that we were able to succeed in bringing the communities together, to unite, to have cross-cultural dialogue, to engage with each other and talk about the unity of their diversity. Something that has not happened in the history of the city for so many years. So ensuring that happened on July 29th and 30th is a great success, not only for Mosaic, but for the people of this great city.
You want to say thank you again so much. Thank you, folks. And this is how we're going to leave you today. This has been a team effort of our dear sister Couple Saleh, my dear brother, Brother Josiah Jokai, and we want to say thank you to our guest, the Reverend Thomaz Paye, and also our TZP, and also our guest, the Reverend Dr. Moses Dennis. And until then, next Sunday, we will be having another program.